I will basically go through some best practices we are following. So definitely you also have some best practices, and I know at the end of the session we will have a panel discussion where we can even interact to improve upon the best practices and share on them. So today I am going to touch upon the things about the basics of health and safety, and then we will talk about cost of accidents. I have a small video to share. We will talk about the risk management because we are talking a lot about hazard and risk. But I will try to start from the basics so that people understand clearly what is hazard and risk and how to do the risk assessments. Because when you go to take some corrective actions, you basically have to know what are the risks and what are the top risks so that you take corrective actions according to the risk. And then when we go for the corrective actions, there are some ways to do that. There are some ways to do that means there is some hierarchy of control where the preference order and the effectiveness we will talk about with a simple example where we will come to know how we start about taking hierarchy of control. And then we will have a simple on-field risk assessment, because sometimes when we talk about risk assessment, some people feel that it's a big job. Okay, so let us begin the job first of all and then go for the risk assessment. So I try to explain a small risk assessment which we say as 1 minute risk assessment, because that risk assessment can be done in 1 minute and which will be very useful also. So that I will try to share from our end, and we will then have some must do and nice to do things which I can also talk upon. Now first to start with, what is safety all about? We are talking much on safety, health, right? So when we talk about safety, what we are talking about really? Because again we have talked to some people who have talked when we are talking to workers and management, the safety thing is different. So management thing is the management aspect. We should take care of the people so that they work comfortably. When we go to workman level, they feel it is a basic need, okay, so that they can, as Nirupam was explaining, in confined spaces and hazardous atmosphere, they feel comfortable and their issues are taken up properly. So those things are there in safety. So what safety is all about? Because as per it goes that it's a condition to being safe, that is a free from danger, right? So that is sometimes told as, okay, we are comfortable, so we are safe. So in that condition, there is a small thing that safety is caring for. Safety is basically caring for others along with yourself. I feel this is a very simple way of explaining what safety is. So it's basically caring for others. When we talk about preventing of accidents, when we talk about prevention of degradation of environment, when you talk about prevention of degradation of health, definitely we are talking about caring of people. Okay, so in that case, I feel in a simple way, the safety is the caring for others along with yourself. And how we do it? In simple place, safe means spot the hazard, assess the risk, find a safer way, and every day. So it's a simple way of explaining that. So in our whole workplaces, when we talk about our workplace, to make it safe, we need to spot the hazard, we need to assess the risk, and definitely we need to have a safer way of doing that, and there should be every day. Now, when we talk about hazards and risk, what is a hazard and what is a risk? So often people interchange the terms in hazard and risk. So a simple example I can give, suppose in a small room or in a conference room like this, there is a cable passing through it, power cable, without some insulation. And nobody is there, it's a closed room. So it's a hazard, right? Because the cable is open, okay, the insulation is cut and it poses it's a hazard as at that time. But whenever people comes to that room, and accessible to that particular cable, it becomes a risk for the person. So that is probably the difference between hazard and risk. Even in simple terms, suppose there is a pond full of snakes and nobody goes there, right? So it's a hazard. The pond is a hazardous, right? Because poisonous snakes are there. But if somebody goes to take a bath in the pond, probably that is a risk for that guy, right? So similarly in workplaces also hazards are there and probably everywhere. And when somebody goes to that particular spot, that brings a risk for him. So that time you have to take the precautions so that the hazards are controlled properly. Now we have talked about safety. Now let us talk about health also. So health, you know, when we talk about health, people feels that it's absence for sickness. Okay, if there is no sickness, probably that is a good health. But in general, it's not only the physical thing, it's also the moral and mental health we talk about, so that a person can face the crisis situation in life anytime. So he is ready. So that is probably the way health is described. And when it is talk about occupational health, it's basically the health related to occupations and workplace. So the development and promotion and maintenance of these type of well-being in workers to the highest level probably comes to the occupational health. And the program must prevent the deterioration of health, controlling risk and ensure adaptation of work to people. That means that in occupational nature in workplaces, the health of persons, health of workmen should be of the highest nature, and we take care of those things so that there is no degradation to the health when people work. Because I was listening in the morning session also, there are few concerns that in some cases workers are exposed to the hazardous atmosphere where there is a chance that the health can be degraded. Now probably you people have gone through this. This is the accident hierarchy where the classifications of accidents are told. Now if we put it in an iceberg, so we can see that in the top of the iceberg, the first aid cases, declared accident and serious nature of accidents and so on. And in the bottom of the iceberg, the dangerous situation and near misses are there. The problem is that whenever there is a accident which is declared and serious, definitely it gets reported, right? And the thing, when there is dangerous situations like unsafe conditions, which definitely create hazards and near misses, that is a challenge probably in every industry, that it does not get reported. So I was also going through some statistics, and I have seen in some zone in our organization also the reporting was very less, and we came through a LTI. It happened suddenly when the statistics of near miss and unsafe conditions were very less. That means definitely the reporting was not at all okay. And probably these are the reactive indicators of reporting. If we report those things, people will come to know that where we need to give more stress. So those things need to be reported so that the serious nature of accidents can be eliminated or minimized. Talking about the classification of accidents, I will show you a small video, okay, where the classification as well as the cost of accidents we can know. Because each accident costs, right? Direct cost and indirect cost. But again, as we have seen the classification, the many of the accidents which are near misses and the first aid cases, probably people does not calculate the cost. So that may be also a huge thing. In some organization I know, they really calculate the cost, and management knows that yes, that cost means each first aid case also cost. Okay, and then when we go for the serious accidents, it's a huge cost occur. So cost is involved, and we should also know that the proactive indicators and reporting are also important. So I will be discussing more on how to report the near misses, what we are doing now, that I can just touch upon, because we are struggling in every meeting that near misses are not going to means reported. That time then we put a panel of persons from operations and safety to know how near misses can be reported and what are the restrictions why people are not reporting. So we came out with some facts that people are not sure of reporting the near misses. They felt that if I report, probably management will ask, you have done something wrong. Second thing is that probably people does not have time to report the near misses. They thought nothing has happened. Suppose somebody is going through, inside a plant and a hammer falls from the top, okay, and it does not hit the guy, he feels he is quite lucky, and it's a near miss, and they does not go in detail how that hammer has dropped from the top. But in that case, then talking to the workers, I feel it's a good idea which we are really doing now. When the toolbox talks are there, we are encouraging people to report the near misses, so that in the interactive way also they report the near miss. And in some plants, in most of the plants, we have put suggestion box where people can put the near miss reporting and drop it there. If he feels that okay, my name should not be known, so he can put those inside the box and people can see what are the near miss happening. And then we really categorize the near miss in different way. It's related to Lototo, it's related to mobile equipment, it's related to a standard operating procedure. Then we categorize and come to know where we need to put the thrust. So now I will just we'll just go through this video. Then we can discuss more on reporting of the accidents and the cost.
and a large extent on lush.